Welcome. Today we're going to practice strumming chords in one key. Today we're going to pick the key of G. So if you play your G chord, you probably already know that chord just fine. That's our one chord. It's built on the first scale degree of the G major scale. So taking a step backwards from that, our G major scale looks like this. It sounds like this. G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and G. So what we're going to do is build a chord off of each of those scale degrees. Off the first degree, we had our G. There's our G chord. Now off the second degree, A, we're going to play an A minor chord. Off the third degree, B, we're going to play a B minor chord. Off the fourth degree, C, we'll play a C chord. Off the fifth degree, D, we'll play a D chord. Off the sixth degree, we'll jump down to this low E, play our E minor chord. And off the seventh degree, F sharp, we could play a diminished chord, but more typically in the kind of strumming and playing you're going to be doing, you probably want to play that as a D chord with the thumb in the bass right here. So it's, even though it sounds like a D chord, we have an F sharp bass. It gives us that nice lead-in sound from F sharp to G. So all those chords again. G, that's our one chord. A minor is our two chord. B minor is our three chord. C major is 4. D major is 5. E minor is 6. And our seventh chord is D with F sharp in the bass. Or if you want, you could play a D7 chord with the F sharp in the bass. It just has a stronger lead in back to G. Okay, so the great thing about playing chords in one key is that you can just strum them in any order and they're going to sound like they go together. They're all in the same family. They're all built off of our G major scale. In other words, if you play a G chord, you've got a G, a B, a D, G, B, and a G. All those notes are found in the G major scale. Your C major chord, for instance, the 4 chord, has a C, E, G, C, E. They're all found in the C major, or all found in the G major scale. Now, of course, it matters what order you play these in. You can't just throw any 3 notes together and come up with a chord. That's for another discussion. That's more music theory. But for now, it's really important to know that if you're in a key, what the 1 chord is, G, what the 4 chord is, C, what the 5 chord is, D, because when you talk to someone about chord progressions and you say, oh, I want to play a 1, a 6, to a 4, to a 5. That's how a lot of musicians communicate. And let's practice strumming a little bit. So if we took that progression, 1, 6, which is E minor, 4, which is C major, and 5, D major. Let's repeat that again. So G major, E minor, C major, and D major. And we want to end back on G. Notice how that sounds complete or final. The 1 chord is always going to be the most stable chord in your key. So let's stay in the key of G. Let's do another progression. Why don't we try 1 to 3. A little tricky. You're not used to playing those bar chords, but make it? Here we'll go to C, and then to D. Back to G one more time. So it's our G chord to B minor. C, and D. There aren't a whole lot of rules. You can put these chords in any order that you want, but there are a couple. You probably want to start with the 1 chord or the 3 chord. Otherwise, it's not going to be clear what key you're in. For instance, we could start on E minor, and if we went to C, and then D, we never really get to a G chord. We're not really in the key of G. We're actually in the key of E minor. So, if you want to really learn the key of G, make sure you start your progression with the key, the chord that goes with the 1 chord, in this case G. Key of G, 1 chord is G. Anywhere you go from there is up to you. You can go to A minor and just go back and forth between G and A minor. That's a nice easy progression. Why don't you try that? So down, down, up, down, up, down. How about B minor, E minor, A minor, to D7 with our F sharp in the bass. When I end on G, it sounds final, but when I started on B minor, it didn't sound so much like a beginning as it would if I were to play G, a little bit stronger of a chord. But any combination is fine. Start off by making your own progressions, by starting with your G chord, then going anywhere from there. So I want to go to C. That's fine. E minor, D. D or C are going to be really strong chords to end your progression on. Your minor chords you can throw there in the middle in any order that you like, and you're going to be fine. A minor, E minor, G, D. Whenever I get back to G, I sound like I'm back home again. So just remember that whenever you play a chord other than G, it's going to sound like relatively unstable. G is your home base. It's always going to gravitate back towards that. Make sure you practice with a metronome so that you stay nice and even with your strumming. Start with just simple downstrokes, and then after that, throw in your alternating strokes. Any questions? Send me a post. Thanks for watching.